Welcome to the next episode of KapVista Klips. Today we have Rohit here from Floofers, which I'm excited about. How are you?
I'm doing good, mate. How are you doing?
Good. As you can tell, it's a bit cold both here in Sydney and in Melbourne, so we're both covered up. But you know that doesn't stop progress. So I'm excited to get into what you're doing. But let's start with your background because you've gotten to this point. You've got some incredible traction. But tell us about you. Tell us about the team.
Sure. First of all, Dan, thanks a lot for having me on here. I really appreciate it. Now, talking about myself, I'm Rohit Vijayan. I've been into IT consultancy for over 16 years. I started off my career working in the UK for major banks. I was there in the UK for almost 8 years, working especially on pre-sales, financials, mobile applications rollout. So that's been my core strength when I was consulting around over there. I moved here to Australia in 2014. And since then, again, here I've been working for major banks like NAB, ANZ, working for insurances companies as well. My main experience has been around the digital transformation and digital mobile application rollout. So that's been my core strength. So far, from a study perspective, I've done my engineering as well. I've done my master's degree in business analytics. So that's again, an add-on to whatever my work has been so far. And yeah, that's been my background, and just enjoyed my 16, 17 years of consulting gig within this corporate world.
Awesome. So then how did you find yourself in this space? How did you find yourself in the pet industry?
Yeah, so that's an interesting thing, right? Because in 2000, probably I've been trying to convince my partner since 2012 that we need to adopt a dog. We need to get a dog again, dog or a cat. To be honest, I'm a major pet lover because I've been around pets since my childhood. Now, in 2019 is when we got our boy Augie, who's currently a chief dog officer for Floofers. The day Augie got into our lives, it's different because he's just like our boy, just like any other pet parent. They're your kids, they are your children, and they are family. So the way Floofers started off was due to my own personal experiences. My partner and I, we've been traveling a lot. And whilst we are traveling, it's always been a constant worry that, okay, who's going to now look after Augie? Yes, family and friends, initially they did help us out, but it's really a favor. It's always a bit awkward to keep asking family and friends to look after your dogs. And that's how we started getting some local pet sitters. I didn't really have some good experiences. A few of those experiences bumped in because of my probably the biggest trigger was canceling interstate trip over to Hamilton Islands because of really bad experience a night before we had to cancel our trip. That's what really triggered me to do a lot of market research around the space. That's how I started off researching, and that's when COVID hit in as well. Did a lot of research, spoke to a lot of pet parents in my local community. I'm a part of a really big pet community here in southeast of Melbourne. And that's how I realized, yes, there is a gap in the market. That most of the pet parents are on the same board. So that's how Floofers was born.
Yeah. So tell us about the solution, right? Because there are competitors in the market, but what you're doing is different, right? And tell us how you're different.
Yes, for sure. I think before I talk about the solution, Dan, it's more around the problem. It's more like we're not really reinventing the wheel. It's just very basic. It's about basic care, just like childcare, where you need someone who's really trusted and qualified to look after your kids. Now, you're not going to hand over kids to just strangers that you don't know anything about, or if you're dropping your kids over to a child care, you would expect the company to do the compliance. It's as simple as that. The problem is that it's an unregulated industry. Pet sitting and dog walking is not regulated in Australia, because of which you can have actually freelancers doing it. You can have companies doing it with either minimal or zero compliances in place, because again, it's not regulated. There is no easy way for a pet parent to find a sitter. People go onto Facebook groups, people go onto Google, but there is no really easy way to find. The other thing is, yes, there are kennels and boarding houses. So talking about problems, Augie, my boy, has always had issues with that. He comes back with kennel cough and he has a lot of anxiety. And plus, it's not cheap. It is really expensive. So
Yep.
again, not putting them down, but at the same time, it's expensive. And they are like Augie's, from my personal experience, he's kept amongst hundreds of other dogs over there. And he doesn't really, not necessarily everyone would get along. So that's been another issue. So that was one of the major issues of, not really finding a good trusted pet sitter. And Floofers was born. And what solution we provide, we keep it very simple. One is the people who are coming on board onto our platform to become pet sitters, they are heavily vetted. Now, vetted is a pretty broad term, but what we actually do is we bring in our own compliance in place. We do police checks for these pet sitter applicants.
Mm-hmm.
Pet sitter applicants would also need to complete a free pet care online course. Now, this online course is actually drafted up by a vet nurse. It's very simple. Like a really simple course that you need to do. It takes 15-20 minutes. And then you need to complete an assessment and gain 100% in the assessment. The reason we do that is to ensure that that is common sense. If you cannot clear that course, maybe you're not really fit enough to pick up, to look after someone's baby. So that's that. Then the other difference is, having a really simple platform to use, easy user experience, easy way to navigate, easy way to communicate with people. The kind of insurance we provide is pretty comprehensive. Again, we do understand what childcare is, and pet care is just same like childcare. So there is enough coverage. And the last bit to add on to is a local friendly customer service team. They're all based here in Melbourne, in South Cofield, in Hawthorne. So you'll get a real human to talk to. It's not an AI generated person. It's going to be a real human. So that's the kind of solution we provide. It's a kind of differentiation that's there, bringing in regulation, having in a good customer service, and just keeping things very simple, just so that the trust factor comes up for the pet parents.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. And so you've had some exciting milestones in the last few months. Tell us about that.
Yes, I'm like really excited to talk about that because we did launch our mobile app in iOS and Android stores last year in April. Now that app has been a basic MVP, a minimum viable product app. Okay, nothing fancy, really simple. And since then, we've actually picked up quite a lot. Since the last 14 months, we've had more than 16,000 users on our platform. We've had more than 2,000 bookings on our platform. And mind you, this is just with a very minimal marketing budget. Because we're trying to optimize, of course, we're trying to utilize every dollar properly to ensure that we are getting a lot of return on investment. That's that. We've had probably more than 40,000 engagements on a platform. What I mean by that is our platform is being used extensively day in, day out. And then on an average, our booking values are more than $120. So that in itself is like a pretty big thing for us as a small business to come over there, launch over there, to test out the market, but at the same time getting the acceptance from the market that yes, this product actually fits in well. And now we're looking to improvise on a lot more.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's amazing. So what is the you've had a lot of traction, 40,000 impressions on the platform is incredible. 16,000 registrations on there. They're really, really strong numbers for in a short period of time. What does the next 12 months look like for you?
Sure. So the next 12 months are very crucial because so far we've just been focusing on Victoria, mind you. We've not really started marketing to any other states. Yes, we've been getting a lot of organic bookings through organic forums from Sydney, from Brisbane, and from other states, but we haven't really gone over there. So far our strategy has been to dominate the Victorian market. The next 3 to 6 months are still going to be focused on completely dominating that and plus expanding over to NSW. Okay. And then the rest 6 months is going to be expanding to the rest of Australia. So the next 12 months, it's going to be more around expansion, more around customer acquisition and customer retention for us. Yes, it's also going to be hiring new staff as well. As I mentioned earlier, our customer service team is never going to be overseas. It's all going to be local Australian people talking to our locals itself.
Yeah.
So on 12 months, we've got that. And we also have plans to enter a different vertical as well. early next year. So basically entering into the insurance sector to launch a pet insurance.
Yeah, and that's where you're different from other places in the market. That pet insurance piece is crucial.
Yes, absolutely. It is crucial, but at the same time, our core focus is still just pet sitting. Because pet sitting in itself is a huge market, which wins the trust of pet parents and sitters, and gradually cross-selling becomes a lot more, I wouldn't say easier, but it definitely gets better.
Yeah, yeah. With what you're doing over the next 12 months and that Australia-wide focus, because you are different and you are doing the compliance side of it and making sure the pet sitters are, fit to look after parents. The pet market in itself is massive, and if you have a look at all the different studies and the economists are indicating, the pet industry is just going to grow exponentially over the next 10 years. So you're in a market that has, the blue sky, but at the moment now, people spend a lot of money on their pets.
That's right. That's right. So then pet humanization is on the rise. It is definitely on the rise. And especially post-COVID, we've seen how the mindset of a lot of people has also changed. Now people are actually spending a lot of money on their pets, more money on the pets even as compared to the kids. So that is the fact. And at the same time, for us, being a digital platform doesn't really stop us from going global as well. One of the major reasons to focus on the Australian market for the next 12 months is to ensure that we learn, we evolve, and make such a robust product, okay, and understand the service, understand how the entire process works, just so that we can then go global. We do have plans to definitely move to United States in the next 2 years, in the next 24 to 36 months. That's definitely on the radar. But again, it's going to be first, let's focus on the Australian market, let's learn, evolve, and then gradually take those learnings across to the other countries.
Yeah. Amazing. So tell us about the ask. How much are you raising? What's that look like? What's the momentum?
Sure. So we are going into seed funding round. We already completed a pre-seed round last year. So this year, seed funding, we're looking for $1.2 million. That's AUD. 60% of that amount raised, 55 to 60% is going to be on marketing. As I mentioned, we've also always been really conservative with marketing, but we've optimized well and we've learned a lot. Now it's time to pump in good amount of money into marketing just so that we can just spread across and moving across to the other states. The remaining is going to be hiring new staff as well and support admin related. So that's the movement square.
Yeah, that's it's a great space to be in, and for investors who are looking at this opportunity, you've built the product, you've tested it, you've spent your own money, you've got to this point with very minimal marketing, and you've tested that marketing robustly. So the investment now is to really put fuel on the fire and just skyrocket.
Absolutely, and another thing which actually I missed out saying was, I did mention earlier that we had launched only an MVP product. The kind of features that we've got in the pipeline, the funded amount, of course, the rest of the 40% post-marketing is also going to be fueling the product enhancement. We're going to be launching features which no other competitors have. So be it in Australia, be it in the United States, no products have these features. So we have plans to launch those features, because me coming in from a product background, I'm really of the mindset that product is the backbone. No matter how good marketing you do, but you don't do, even if you do a good marketing, people come onto your product. If they do not like it, your retention rate will drop drastically. So that's one of the key elements for us, that we are going to be moving ahead next 12 months and marching ahead with the product as well, with the amount that's being raised. That will help us with that.
Yeah. Okay. Amazing. Well, we'll leave it at that, but it's an exciting space that you're in. You've proven the traction. You've got a a strong offering that's different from other people in the market, and now it's just time to pour, to put the rocket in it and send it to the sky. So thanks very much for jumping on. Anybody who's watching this who wants to find out more, just reach out to me, let me know, and I can connect you with the team. But thank you very much for jumping on. It's been great to chat, and I'm excited to see what's next.
Thank you so much, Dan. Really appreciate it. Thanks for having me. Cheers.
No worries.